After spending 3 years away from London, Charlotte Hartwell returns for one reason only: her beloved niece's birthday. Unlike most ladies, Charlotte has no interest in society. Having left London years earlier, she became a successful businesswoman in the town of Renford and prefers riding boots, practical coats, and business ledgers over silk gowns and ballroom gossip. But a chance encounter brings her face to face with Cassius Viri, an opera singer, a man she has secretly admired for years. As she chases the dream she's held onto for years, Charlotte fails to notice the one man who has been quietly watching her all along.
Chapter 1. A Return to London. The carriage drew to a halt before Hartwell Manor. Before the footman could lower the steps, Charlotte jumped down onto the gravel drive. At once she inhaled deeply. At last! 3 years. 3 years since she had last stood before the familiar townhouse. The front door flew open. Charlotte! Rosamond Hartwell, her best friend, smiled brightly as she stepped down. Charlotte's own grin widened. Rosamond! She hurried up the steps. The two women met halfway and embraced tightly. I've missed you dreadfully, Charlotte said, squeezing her friend. It feels an age. It has been an age, Rosamond replied, laughing, though your letters have certainly kept me entertained. Charlotte pulled back suddenly and looked around. Where is my niece? Where is little Lenora? Rosamond's expression softened. Asleep. Charlotte placed a hand dramatically over her heart.
Asleep? How inconsiderate. Does she not know her favourite aunt has travelled all the way from Renford to meet her? You are her only aunt. Rosamond rolled her eyes affectionately. Before either woman could say more, a small figure came racing down the steps. Aunt Charlotte! Charlotte lowered to pull her little nephew into a hug. Evander! Good heavens, you've grown so much. The boy beamed proudly. I told Mamma I was taller. You certainly are. His eyes narrowed suspiciously. Did you bring it? The invention you talked about in your letter? Charlotte lowered her voice. Of course I did. Evander let out a victorious cheer. A familiar voice sounded from the doorway. Perhaps allow your aunt 5 minutes before demanding her luggage. Charlotte looked up. Benedict! Her brother descended the steps. She immediately released Evander and threw her arms around him. The Earl of Briarholt caught her with a grunt. Good Lord! What are they feeding you in Renford? No lady ought to possess such a grip. Charlotte laughed as she stepped away. Then it is fortunate I have never been much of a lady. His gaze travelled over her attire. Rosamond sighed. You see, 3 years away and she has returned worse. Worse? Charlotte repeated. I should say improved. I own more trousers than skirt, but I swore a skirt. Benedict immediately looked away to hide his smile. Rosamond pointed accusingly at him. Do not encourage her. I've long since accepted defeat. Charlotte laughed. For a brief moment, she simply looked at them. Rosamond, Benedict, her family. A warmth spread through her chest. Renford had become her home, but this place still held pieces of her heart. Benedict turned. Come along. His voice softened. We're glad you've come back. Charlotte smiled, happy to be here. They turned towards the house. Later that evening, after spending nearly an hour fussing over baby Lenora and putting Evander to sleep, who only tried to dismantle one of her craft inventions merely to see how it worked, she retired to her bedchamber. A knock came from the door. Come in. Rosamond slipped into the room. Getting ready for bed? I assigned a maid to you. Why didn't you call for her? Charlotte laughed. Oh, please, I can do this myself.
Stubborn as always. Rosamond sighed as she stepped closer.
Let me help.
They stayed like that for a moment. Then Rosamond smiled.
I cannot remember the last time we did this.
Neither can I, Charlotte admitted, though I dare say we are rather too old for it now. Are you saying that because I have become a wife and a mother? No, Charlotte shouted. She laughed. Charlotte grinned.
You got me.
You know, if you didn't marry my brother, Charlotte continued, we might have spent these past years travelling the world together. Rosamond laughed. Oh, please. You know perfectly well that I have no desire to wander across the countryside chasing business ventures. A pause. Besides, I'm quite content with Benedict and our little family. What can I say? Charlotte placed a hand dramatically against her chest. I always knew he would succeed. Once I taught him how to court a lady. Rosamond barked a laugh. You forget that I admired Benedict long before he ever gathered the courage to speak to me. Charlotte sighed. A dreadful oversight on his part.
Suddenly Rosamond leaned closer. The familiar look immediately made Charlotte wary. Oh no. Oh yes! Charlotte groaned. Here we go again. Rosamond ignored her. So 3 years away from London without so much as entertaining a single gentleman. There must be someone. There is not. Not even one gentleman. Charlotte moved to the bed. Good heavens. Rosamond pulled her up. Charlotte, you never say anything when I ask in my letters. No. She sighed dramatically. I already told you countless times, Rosa, marriage is not for me. Don't say that. You are beautiful, Rosamond said. You merely need to dress a little differently, like a lady. Excellent. Then I shall continue exactly as I am. Since you have only just arrived, I shall let the matter rest for tonight. How generous. And tomorrow we go shopping. I believe Lenora is crying. Charlotte pointed towards the door. She pushed her to the door. There is a tea party gathering in 2 days. Rosamond ignored her. I am here to visit my nephew and niece, Charlotte said flatly. I have no interest in society gatherings. She smiled. Good night, Rosa. The door closed firmly. Charlotte! Rosamond's voice could still be heard through the door. You do not own a single proper gown. Charlotte flopped onto the bed. We are here for my niece, she muttered to herself. Not tea parties, and certainly not matchmaking. Chapter 2. My Only Exception. Charlotte did end up at the dress shop, only because Lenora's birthday was coming up. Nothing more. After all, she had simply shown Rosamond the dress she intended to wear to the celebration. Then, somehow, Rosamond had managed to force her to the store. Charlotte sighed as they stepped out of the shop. You know, you didn't have to select that many dresses. I only needed one. Oh, please. Rosamond waved a hand. It's my daughter's birthday. I get to do what I want. Charlotte shook her head. There you are again with the blackmail. Rosamond chuckled. At least it worked. That's how you ended up buying dresses and gloves for me. Charlotte smiled proudly as she moved closer to her. Petty things. I have far more money to spend on you, my dear. Name anything. A horse came racing down the road. Charlotte quickly pulled Rosamond aside. Rosa! The horse thundered past. Are you all right? Charlotte asked. Rosamond nodded. Yes, that was terrifying. She looked towards the horse. What sort of person could allow a horse to become like that? Someone could get hurt. But Charlotte was no longer listening. Without warning, she took off running.
Charlotte! Rosamond shouted. Where are you going? Don't run! Charlotte ignored her. Several gentlemen were chasing after the horse, but she followed a shorter path. Luckily, the horse headed towards an open park. Seeing her chance, Charlotte sprinted forward. The next moment, she grabbed hold of the reins and swung herself onto its back. The horse reared. She tightened her grip. Easy now, boy. The horse fought against her. That's it. She stroked its neck gently. Calm down.
Slowly, the animal settled. By the time the gentleman caught up, the horse was standing still. One of the men looked astonished. My lady, how did you do that? That was incredible. A gentleman dismounted from another horse. Oh, thank God. He let out a long breath. You caught him. Charlotte slid down and took hold of the reins. Yeah, I think he's sensitive to noise and crowds. He only needs a little work, nothing more.
She patted the horse. A fine breed. Intelligent, too. The gentleman listened attentively. Oh, that explains it. He smiled. Oh, thanks. You seem to know quite a lot about horses for a lady. Charlotte smiled back. That's my field, so I know a lot about horses. Oh? He raised a brow. You don't hear that very often. You're not from around here, I take it. Well, kind of. Well, thank you. Charlotte nodded. Any time. She turned to leave. The gentleman watched her. She really doesn't know me? Meanwhile, Rosamond finally caught up. Charlotte! She grabbed her arm. Are you all right? Why would you do that? You could have been hurt. Charlotte beamed. It's him. What? It's him. Rosamond stared at her, as though she had suddenly lost her senses. Cassius Vieri, the famous opera singer. I've seen so many posters of him. He's even more beautiful in person. Rosamond stared. Right. I never thought I would actually see him. I think he touched my hand. Rosamond touched her forehead. Ha ha, Charlotte, I think we should go home. Maybe the little exercise caused you a lot. Charlotte was still smiling as they climbed into the carriage. As it began moving, she leaned towards the window. Charlotte! Rosamond shouted, but she ignored her. Her smile remained. Looking back. We'll meet again, Mr. Cassius Vieri. I'm certain of it.